What's up, everyone? Welcome back to The Ripple Effect with Soria. I'm your host, Armando Soria, and holy shit, do we have a show for you today. I am incredibly excited for the knowledge we're gonna share, everything that we're gonna talk about. Do me a huge favor. If you find value with what we're showing and what we're talking about, share the show. You sharing the show will help us out, help us grow, and keep this shit going. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to my guest. I am extremely excited to be sitting across the table from a coach, a mentor, a friend. I'm excited to introduce to you guys Christopher Warrens. Christopher Warrens is an author, entrepreneur, business coach, watch jeweler. The list goes on and on. Chris, what's up, man?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me, dude.
We were just talking about it. It's really hard to introduce someone that has the resume such as yourself. So if you could do us a little bit of, do us a favor and just maybe touch on a little bit about who you are and, let the audience get to know you, man. I'd appreciate that.
Well, first things first, thank you for having me. Alex in his studio is great. I loved meeting him. But you said a few things that I am, but most importantly, you're my friend.
Absolutely.
And that's how I see you. I see you as a friend. And all of my credentials and all of the things that I've done, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. When people introduce me, sometimes I even get taken back at the things that are said because I've forgotten that I'm serious. I've forgotten that I've done it or accomplished it, or I'm just not focused on it anymore. And I think someone like myself who has done an incredible amount of things over the course of my life and career at my age, I don't fixate on what I've done. I fixate on where we're going.
Absolutely.
Right? You know the whole... the reason why the windshield is so big is because you look forward and the rear view mirror in the car is small because you're not looking behind. It's true.
Absolutely.
And, a lot of people have a lot of things to say regarding what I've done or did. What I say is I'm just getting started. We're just scratching the surface.
That's it, man.
And I'm out here in California thanks to you. You personally got me a keynote yesterday with your family, with Nora and Miguel and that whole crew. Yep. Shout out to those guys.
Yep.
And you asked me to come on here and say what's up. So
what's up?
So what's up, dude? What's going on, man? I actually really enjoy it out here. You taught me the coolest thing that you've taught me since I've been out here is the history of Monterey and the surrounding areas. I had no clue. I'm isolated in Connecticut, but you've not only taken me around, fed me, given me a stage to speak on, introduced me to all your friends, sold my books, so on and so. You sold like 30 of my books yesterday.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But you've given me the experience of the culture, and I don't know anything about your culture. I honestly don't. I don't know anything about being a Mexican American. I don't know anything about being Hispanic. Mm-hmm. And you guys, your family, your people, you've brought me in and I felt like family. And it's probably one of the coolest, most humbling feelings I've ever felt in California, let alone in the past several years. So thank you for having me.
You're welcome, man. And thank you for coming, and that all means a lot, man. So that's appreciated by, I'm sure a lot of those who attended that and got to interact with you, got to get to know you, got to hear you speak. My God, that was powerful, man. That was powerful. Yeah. Let's start with the beginning, man.
Sure.
I'd like to start by how you going back to how we met. And how this relationship, basically went from a social media connection to now you're all the way across the country speaking at the National Hispanic Organization of Real Estate Associates National Conference. That's NORA. And, just the evolution of an actual organic relationship. Yeah. Right. So let's start there, man, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So we're both in a couple circles, with in the personal development world. And I knew when I was going through my own entrepreneurial journey, I knew that I needed to disassociate myself with certain circles, surround myself with like-minded people, that whole the whole concept of you're the sum of your association type thing. And so I was hungry. I was hungry to surround myself with other business owners and people that were aspiring to be great, aspiring to grow teams, leaders, so forth and so on. So I decided to start a local mastermind group. I didn't know what the hell a mastermind group was.
You started with like 3 people, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Cedric, AD, and Tony, man. And Cedric and AD both have been guests, Tony and Cedric have been guests on this podcast, and AD's coming soon. But that's how it started. We wanted to get together. I wanted to form that sort of bond and peer-to-peer accountability and mentorship, but I had no idea what I was doing. So being that we're on a social media group full of entrepreneurs, I posed the question, where should I start with the mastermind group? Some people chimed in and, got some helpful information, but you selflessly posted or commented and offered to come on and do about a 10, 15 minute, Zoom intro for us, having the experience of running your own mastermind, which I'm happy, we'll get into. I'm happy to be a part of that. And
you're a big part of it. And
man, I was like, all right, yeah, man, let's see what this guy's about. And, so again, lots of different hats. Right. And so the first thing that stood out was, watch guy. And I'm like, oh, he's a watch dealer. It's more than just a watch dealer, but it's a full service luxury timepiece concierge, right?
Yes, sir.
That's probably the best way to put it.
Si, senor.
And so, I looked at your bio, 8-figure entrepreneur, Purple Heart recipient. Thank you for your service. And I'm like, man, this guy's going to talk to us. Like, this is going to be cool, right? So I remember that call very clearly, and it sucked because we had some technical issues because we didn't know what the hell we were doing.
I was your first guest.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And, I lost like half of it, but it's funny. I actually found the archives and I just listened to the first 5 minutes.
Oh, did you?
It was fucking epic.
Yeah.
It was epic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's how we met.
Yeah.
And I was interested in timepieces. And so I started following your social medias and I discovered really quickly that you've had a podcast, the CW Clinic.
Yes.
Since 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I went back to like episode 1 because I want to know who this man is. You know what I mean? Who's this guy who's just coaching us up?
I love when you say that.
Yeah, man, it was awesome. And as a matter of fact, I think that's how you asked, what should I talk about? And I said, hey, you remember in episode 2 when you were talking about, I think it was something about
work ethic
or someone was having a bad day. We'll go back to it, man. We'll find it. But it was a while ago, 2018, right?
300 episodes ago.
This is episode 8, I think, or 9. So yeah, man, I got a ways to go, but we're on our way, chipping away.
No, you're doing it right. You're doing it right.
Well, when you have a producer like Mag One, bro,
Yeah.
Shout out,
hell yeah.
Shout out Alex, Truth. Man. I wish we could, if you can, pan and say what's up, brother.
Yeah, you can hear him in the studio back there.
So, anyways, that's how we met. We were following each other, and I think we would shoot each other some fire emojis and shit, that kind of thing. I was very new to business. I think I was in year 2, but the beginning of, or the end of year 1, or somewhere on that line, maybe year 2. But at any rate, I was nervous to get in contact with you and ask you about watches, whatever, but you were very open, very, just the level of service, right? No, not being pushy. You were just answering my questions. We're talking about Breitlings and Rolexes. And I'm like, oh shit, like that's wild. Right. And yeah, man, slowly but surely we got to the point where I was ready to pick up a piece, and I bought a watch from you, and we met in Nashville to do the exchange. And
November of 22, I believe.
22. Yeah. And the point in all this is that it was just now where we are. Yeah. I consider you my mentor, a business coach. Yes. I'm in your mastermind.
Yes.
I bought a couple watches. Yes. Yeah. Your team had designed my logo.
Yeah.
We worked together, but all that came organically.
Yeah.
No pushy salesing, no marketing, none of that shit, right? It was true organic relationship. And I'm highlighting that because this is what you teach.
Correct.
Or one of the many things you teach.
Yes. This is the style of business that I teach.
Man.
Yeah.
So we talk about branding, we talk about marketing, on this podcast. Can you touch on this story a little bit with your, from your side of the coin, so to speak?
Of course. Yeah. Excellent explanation, by the way. This is what it comes down to. And this could be perceived many different ways, but the truth to answer your question is this: 99.9% of people I come in touch with, I can help. 99.9% of people I can help. And that doesn't mean that people can't help me. I'm just saying almost every single person that I meet, I can help in some capacity. These entrepreneurial networking groups that we're in, I'm not there to learn. I'm not. I'm there to teach. Yeah. I'm there to help. Right. Do I learn? Yeah, I learn. There's definitely some nuggets that I pick up here and there, listening to the big boys talk about perspective that they've had 30 years to develop in business. Mm-hmm. Sure, that supersedes my 15 years. It's twice as long. But they're not teaching me anything I don't know. Mm-hmm. They're just putting perspective on what I already know. Yeah. How do I know? I've been in business 15 years. It doesn't mean that I'm the best. It just means that I've made the mistakes, just like they have, just like you have, just like everybody has. But going back to the point, being in these groups, every single time I enter into these groups, I'm looking for opportunities to help. That's literally my mindset. Awesome. Let me go into this group today. I have 10 minutes allocated into my schedule to give back, to help. So when I saw your post, I know in this group that there's a bunch of beginners. Yeah. There's a bunch of up and comers. There's a bunch of people that are hungry. Mm-hmm. I remember that feeling. I remember that feeling because I still have it a decade and a half later. I'm hungry. Yeah. I'm fucking hungry.
And you could eat, boy.
I can eat, Yeah. But the point is, a lot of these dudes that are hungry, these chicks that are hungry, that want to eat, don't really know how to feed themselves. So let me give you the fork and knife if I can. Yeah. Let me teach you how to feed yourself. Right. So when I saw your post and it was something along the lines of, hey, I just started this mastermind. Can anyone give me some perspective on this and or want to speak to it? Oh, perfect. I have a mastermind. Yeah. I know how it is to build a mastermind, because when I built my mastermind with my team, we had no idea what to do. I just knew that I read Napoleon Hill. Yeah, absolutely. And his explanation of a mastermind. I know that I grew up Roman Catholic and that Jesus and the disciples were a mastermind. I understand the concept, but I didn't know how to run a mastermind in 2021. I didn't really know Zoom. No one really knew Zoom until 2020, right? Yeah. But I was like, shit, let's throw some shit against the wall and see what sticks. Right. But I've been in business so long, I know very quickly what to pivot on and what to not. What is working, what isn't. Let's put that aside for a moment. You're in my Facebook mastermind group. How often do I put polls in that group?
Oh, all the time.
What am I doing?
You're taking feedback, you're asking questions, and you're making sure that we're all on the same page and looking out for us, what works best for us.
I'm collecting the data for what works best for the people that are there, putting food on the plate for my team is really what it comes down to. If something is not working, it needs to go. Yep. If something is working, we're going to triple and quadruple the fuck down on it. Right? You understand?
Absolutely.
So going back to you, right? I didn't know that then. I know that now. But when you asked for help in 2022, I had run a mastermind for a year. The least I could do is give you the fork and knife to be able to feed yourself. Absolutely. Metaphorically speaking. Right. All right. And talk to your people. Right. I want to help. I want to give back. And everyone in my life now that I help and give back to, it's because I want to.
Yes.
If I don't respond to your text message, if I don't respond to your DM, if I don't follow you, if I'm not watching your stories, if I'm not commenting on your stuff, I don't care. Not that I dislike you. I'm just not helping you anymore. Me, myself personally, my team can contest to it. I talk to probably 300 to 500 people a day to help.
That's wild.
I'm not charging them anything. Right. I'm just helping them because I enjoy doing it.
Yes.
So when I'm serious. And listen, if you get a fire emoji from me, you're still getting something from me. You know what I mean? You're still getting my response. If you get a hell yeah, I'm happy for you. I'm not having a full-on conversation with you, but I'm helping you.
Yes.
Right? If you don't get that anymore, I just don't help you anymore. I'm not a fan of yours anymore. I still want to see you do well. You're just not getting my help. And 99.9% of people that are in my life, I am there to help them.
Yeah.
Of course, there are people that help me like you.
Yeah, right.
But going back to the masterminds, I just wanted to help.
Yeah.
And when you slid into so we did the mastermind. I talked to your people.
Yep. Everything
went really well. I met AD.
Yep.
I met Tony, right?
Yep, Tony.
I met Tony.
Cedric.
Cedric, yep. I met everybody, which I've built relationships with all of them since then, or we've built relationships. But the point is, you and I built a relationship. And you slid into my DMs and you were talking about watches.
Right.
Well, my style of business is we're not pushy. Like, we'll ask, like, hey, do you want this?
Yeah.
Like, are you taking this? Because if you're not, someone else is. But if you want it, like, you got to tell me.
Absolutely.
But there's no pushiness. I'm a teacher. My purpose on this earth is to teach. So if someone's going to be like, hey, Chris, what's the difference between a Breitling and a Rolex? That's a great question. First things first, about $10,000.
Right. Yeah.
Second thing is, let's talk about this. What's good for you? Is the Breitling good for you? Or is the Rolex good for you? Is the Audemars Piguet good for you? Is the Philippe Patek good for you? What's the difference between an Omega and a Breitling? Okay, well, let's talk about it. I want to actually talk about it. It's not a fire emoji. It's not a heck yeah. I'm actually educating.
Yes.
I'm actually educating. And I'm not looking at it as, all right, well, how many times do I have to educate this person before I close the sale? I don't fucking care. I collect the data. I know how many touches I need to touch someone before they buy a watch. We collect the data because I need to know how much time I can put into people.
Absolutely.
But I'm not looking at it for the sale. I'm looking at it to build the relationship. Whether they buy a watch from me or someone else, it's what's good for them. It's what's good for them.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, if I put all my time into educating someone and answering all their questions, and then they go buy and watch from someone else, guess what? Guess what?
No more fire emojis.
No more fire emojis. Not that I don't want to see them eat.
Right.
You're in my restricted box.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at your shit because you used me. And when you have the ability to help everyone and you realize you've been used because they're selfish and they don't realize it, you're out of my life. You're not getting my help anymore. Not because I lost a sale, because you are selfish and did what was better for you in the moment rather than continuing to build the relationship.
Yeah.
So regardless of all of that, and trust me, I move people to my restricted box sometimes 5 people a day, honestly. But anyways, and the point that I'm getting back to is organic relationship building is how I've grown 6 companies, teams, payrolls of $50,000 a month, yada, 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 yada. And it's what helps me sleep well at night.
Right.
I don't pay for any marketing. Well, I lie. About 85% of our marketing budget is gifts for our customers.
Right. Yeah. The boxes.
The little bit, exactly.
Yeah.
The little bit that's paid for is membership to networking groups. Or, things of that nature. We don't have any paid marketing. There's no like formal Instagram, Facebook, none of that. All of our budget is to take care of our customers, send them gifts, send them boxes, send them swag, support their events, things of that nature. And that's the business that I teach. But the first step is finding opportunities to helping people. And I think that answers the question.
Yeah, it does.
Right? Yeah,
it does. And it's really cool because when you do have that authentic relationship, it's funny and not, not that it comes down to keeping score or anything like that, right? But at the same time, what comes of that, right? It's you build that organic relationship authentically. You're there first and foremost to serve and to help, right? And to teach. And those that are receptive to it, at some point it does come back, right? And we could talk karma, we could, go down that rabbit hole. But in essence, I bring that up because here we are again, now you're from Connecticut, the Connecticut area, but you're here in, across the table from me because I was able to, connect you with Miguel and the team. And so what started as you helping me out for my mastermind group, and now here you are speaking to 500, 600 realtors at the NORA, or, real estate professionals at this national conference, man. And that's just beautiful. And I did that, I didn't do shit. Honestly, you earned that spot, right? All the hard work, everything that you've been doing, growing your brand, from the books to everything else, right? I mean, you earned that spot on that stage. All I did was just connect you to Miguel, right? But that was the least I could do. And that's what happened, right?
You looked for an opportunity to help.
Exactly. And we've done business and, all that kind of thing. But that was the least I could do, because everything that your coaching and mentoring has done for me. Yeah. And that all came about, and I'm going to pull it out again. That all came about not from that 15-minute conversation we had when you donated some time or the watch sales.
Was it only 15 minutes?
Something like that. I think so. It's pretty short.
Is it because the audio kept cutting out?
Zoom crash. I ended up pulling out. I ended up pulling out Facebook, and I just did a Facebook FaceTime.
That's right. Yeah.
But it was funny because it was in the, it wasn't on any of that. And we could get into mentorship because I did want to speak to you on that.
Absolutely.
But the reason I reached out to you, and the reason why I'm in your mastermind group and apply, what you teach, implement what you're teaching, is because when I was going through my own personal development journey, I was doing 75 hard. I needed a book to read. I'm like, all right, cool, and I love supporting, the crew and friends and that kind of thing. So I picked up your book, Dominate Your Day, A High Performer's Guide to Winning at Life. I picked this book up and I consumed this thing. I mean, it was 10 pages a day. So whatever, a week.
So it took you 2 weeks.
Yeah, something like that. But I was also doing the audio. Because I like to do that. I like to read, but I also like to hear it when I'm doing my walks and all that kind of thing. Yeah. And man, this book, really, what it did for me was during that time, though, I was going all in on personal development.
Yeah, I remember this. You're part of your life.
It was going very well. Things were going well, but I had no structure. I think that's where I was at this time. So of all the chapters, chapter 3 and 4 in this book,
morning routine and affirmations,
man, gratitude, right? This got me, because again, I'm green, right? I have no idea what personal development is, prior to the last couple of years, and more specifically last year. And so it provided awareness, right? And once I implemented the morning routine, but more importantly, once I had a perspective shift and realized the power of gratitude, that's when everything just skyrocketed in terms of my personal life and business.
That was a great conversation.
That was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that very clearly. I remember you called because we were talking about another watch.
Did I call you or did you call me?
I think I was asking.
I think you called me.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
probably. And it was on a Sunday. I was with my wife, Marisol, and the kids, and we were. If Marisol's listening, it was when that lady took us because we bought that expensive ass soap at Carmel.
She sold you?
Oh man! Well, I turned my back because I was on the phone with you. Next thing you know, and Marisol's getting taken by this old lady.
$700 soaps.
A bar of soap, man. She said it was like this magic soap was gonna make me smell like a king. You know what I mean? It was all right. It was pretty good.
Right.
But it was pretty cheesy too.
Sure.
But anyway, I had stepped outside, and I took your call. And I was like, dude, what the hell is this, man? Like, this book is just, it's an easy read. And more importantly, the shit that you were talking in there. And I loved how humble you are, because and I'm going to quote you, and please, you're the first one to always say that in this world of personal development, no one's reinventing the wheel, right? Everyone's talking about the same shit.
Yep.
It's just different perspectives. And for me, it's as you look for a coach, and we're gonna talk about mentorship, but as you look for a coach, it comes down to who resonates with you.
Yes.
Who's in line with you. Because everyone's saying the same shit.
Yes, we are.
Right? So please, can you take it from here, man.
Yeah. You want me to tell the story of the book?
Yeah, please, man.
Well, fun fact: my fifth company at the time, I wanted to build CW Consulting. All right. So early on in my career, I put my name all over all of my businesses. I didn't realize I was doing it out of ego, but I have learned since, and I have not put my name on my past two companies. But the point is, and what I'm getting at is, in 2018, one of my goals was to open CW Consulting. However, I had inadequacies within me, and I said, Chris, you're only an MBA, you're not a PhD. Chris, you're only making millions of dollars, not tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Chris, you're only 33 years old, you're not 43. No one's going to take you seriously. And I had these inadequacies coming up, these fears coming up that I wasn't good enough to coach other people in life and in entrepreneurship, so on and so forth. Now, if I had reframed that and been like, you're 33 making X amount of dollars, you're 33 with a team of 60, you're 33 with an MBA, you're 33 with two companies, you're 33 with whatever that needs to be said. But I felt inadequate. And that's relatable. And it's relatable to everybody.
Everyone.
The highest performing people, no matter who they are, it all comes up at some point, right? It's just the glass ceiling, once you hit it and then break through it, is what we're talking about here. 2019 was the same thing. I failed that goal. I did not open CW Consulting. I was smashing in my other companies, smashing.
I believe it.
2020 came around. I was no longer smashing in my other companies. 2020, COVID destroyed the fitness industry. A lot of industries took off, not the fitness industry. All right. So anyways, I had failed this goal for 2 years straight. And the reason why I'm talking about opening this company is because that book put me on the map with that company. What I had done was I announced to social media, I made like 30 or 35 grand in a day. I said, I'm going to start teaching business in 2020. My gym was shut down. I had nothing to do. I'm going to check this goal off first thing in 2020 is what it comes down to. And I made a post and made like 30 grand in a day to coach entrepreneurs. The thing about it is, I thought I was going to be this grand business consultant in 2020. First things first, I'm like a new business coach. I've only been doing it like less than 3 years for money.
Right.
I've been doing it for free for a decade.
I believe it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it got to the point to where I had to start charging for my time. Well, anyways, everyone that hired me said the same thing. They're 24 to 35-year-old white males. Hey, Chris, can you teach me how to be wealthy and successful? My answer was, yeah, but don't you want me to teach you to be an entrepreneur? No. Teach me how to be wealthy and successful. Okay. So I didn't beta test the market.
Yeah.
I had all of this money coming in, which I was going to deliver. I had to deliver. So I completely threw that book aside.
Yeah, we'll touch on that.
We'll touch on that in a second. And I had to build a program for high performers to be successful like this overnight. So I sat down. I see the gears spinning. Do you want me to stop?
No, go. No.
I sat down. I said, all right, Chris, let's bang this out. How have I gotten to the point in life to where I'm wealthy and successful? All right, well, this is my system. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, which I took out of the book. There's only 7 chapters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to run this live course. Everyone's going to meet with me once a week for 8 weeks. Each week is a different module, in this case, different chapter in the book.
Right.
Within that 8 weeks, wild stuff was happening. One dude hadn't slept with his wife in years. Next thing I knew, she was pregnant.
Boom.
One dude got Dan, I think it was like a $30,000 or $40,000 raise, like that. Taught people how to get raises in their job. Boom, 40 grand salary. In addition, that in that moment for that year, another guy left his job, bought a gym. I mean, all of this gangster stuff was happening quickly.
Yeah.
So the Dominate Your Day live course went over really well.
Yeah.
once that live course was over, I was like, I need to run more live courses and I need to write this thing into a book.
Yeah.
Sat down, got on the phone with my coach, Tom Plummer. Tom Plummer's written like 12 or 13 books. I said, yo, coach, how do I write a book? He's like, 5 pages a day, 6 days a week. And I was like, that sounds like a lot. He's like, just shut up and do the work. Okay. So I wrote the book. But the interesting part about the book is I told him, were you around for this? I told him, I said, all right, I'm done. He goes, how many pages you got? I was like, 75. He goes, what did you write, a PDF? And he goes, Chris, you are not considered an author unless you write at least 120 pages. Anybody that writes less than 120 pages is not an author. They've written a PDF in paper form. Fair enough. So I went back to the drawing tables and rewrote the whole book. And that's how the book came about. And that was the question, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about it all, right?
Right.
So when you saw the expression or the gears turning, so you're saying that this one here was actually before Dominate Your Day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild. And I mean, yeah, man. So all this stuff happening, I got to go back.
Yeah. Rip it apart.
All this stuff happening because there's no coincidences, right? I mean, implementing gratitude, implementing a morning routine, and what I need to work on, and that's the evening routine, right? But suddenly, wild shit's happening in my life, just like how wild shit was happening in those examples you brought up.
Yeah.
So, what are we talking here, man? Are we talking shifting mindset? Are we talking, perspective shifts? Like, what do you attribute to? You wrote it. You wrote the book on it, so to speak, right? So what's going on?
Yeah. So can you go live in the mastermind group? So you want me to explain what I like, the reason or the outcome that will be achieved for reading the book? Is that what you're asking?
I mean, it's hard to put into words, right? But I'm just, I guess, what are you unlocking when you're starting to implement these things in your life that then in turn, produce results? Right. That's what we're saying here.
So that's an excellent question. The answer is awareness. This is a self-awareness book. This is a self-awareness book that teaches how to heal from trauma and teaches you to be a fucking savage, straight up. Not a savage that goes around and beats up everybody. Right. Savage in life, a savage of good, a savage of doing the right thing, a savage of holding yourself accountable first and foremost and holding other people accountable secondly. But it all starts with awareness. This book is a system to become a savage, to dominate your day, a high performer's guide to winning at life. What a lot of people don't know about me is I'm a system builder.
Yep.
I am a nasty system builder.
Yep.
I don't build the systems though. This and that are two systems out of the hundreds that we have in our companies. These are the only two that I've personally written. Do you understand?
I do.
I'm a nasty system builder, and that's a system of self-awareness. What I tell people is if you can get through the first chapter, you can become a savage in life and dominate your day. Why? Well, the answer is because the first 2 chapters are basically telling everybody the reason why you have problems in life, the reason why that everything's all fucked up is not because of Sally, it's not because of Paola, it's not because of Armando, it's not because of Alex, it's because of you.
Yep.
It's the person looking back in the mirror is the root of your own problems. And until you conceptualize that to the depth that it is, you will not dominate in life. I have never met a high performer that does not own their shortcomings. Now, there might be pieces of things that they don't see, but fundamentally they can raise their hand and say, you know what? This is my fault. This is my mistake.
Absolutely.
So that book teaches awareness to understand how to perform at a very high level in life and in business.
Beautiful. Well said. Holy shit, man.
Thank you.
And
you get it, right?
I do, because I've implemented a lot of this.
I think all of it.
And I'm still, And the
Chapter 7 is where you're hung up.
yeah. And we're working through it, man. We're kicking the beehive.
That's the hardest one.
We're kicking that fucking beehive.
That's the hardest one.
But what's cool about this is, yeah, man, personal development, business journey. I mean, it's a lifelong thing, right?
Sure.
And that was a hard lesson for me because I thought, hey, 75 days, I'm going to be a changed man.
Yeah.
And truthfully, that system was good, but it wasn't my system, right? And I'm still working on that, and I'm realizing more and more that this is a lifelong journey. There is no end game, and you told me that, right? So, I mean, man, there's so much there, and we could spend hours just talking about this book. So I encourage you listeners and viewers that if you haven't checked it out, please do. And we'll plug it in, it's on Audible. That's a fun story.
I read it.
Yeah.
I read the Audible.
Yeah.
Most authors don't. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well done, sir.
Paola edited it.
Well done, Paola. And if she's not in the shop, Paola's here hanging out too.
What up, Paola?
What up, Paola? But so thank you for sharing that, man. And there's so much more to it. And but what I'm really excited about is, so back to the relationship.
Yeah.
You reached out, you helped me. I read your book. I'm like, you know what? This is helping me. The lessons that I'm applying, they are helping me, and business is going well.
You're smashing.
Yeah, I become a better leader, and I'm working on becoming the best husband to my wife, the best father to my kids, and it's a culmination of all the personal development. It's a culmination of me working on me, taking in what I want. It's
you becoming the man you need to be. Not that you aren't,
right?
But it's just understanding it. And
so again, now goes back. So when it comes to mentorship, when it comes to the coaches, because you go on Instagram and you can't throw a rock before hitting a new coach.
You know what I mean?
Real. So I wanted to touch on this with you because I know you have a pretty strong opinion here, and I'd love for you to share it.
Yeah. What do you want me to share on exactly? These coaches?
Yeah, man. Mentorship.
All right. Mentorship. Okay. Mentorship. Well, I think one of the biggest reasons why I've become a mentor to so many people is because I never had one. Growing up, my father was dying of cancer, and cancer ended up taking him while I was in Iraq, actually. But the point is, I never had a man teach me to be a man. I had to, my father was very sick. He was very, very, very sick. And he was a friend, but he wasn't a mentor. Right. And he was a good man, but he didn't have it in him to teach me to be a man because he was sick. All he did is go through chemo. That's what I remember growing up. But what I'm getting at is I had to go into the military to learn to be a man. And when I'm around men, it's pretty apparent. I'm the manly guy, right? I'm the masculine male.
Yeah.
I don't act like I'm better than anyone. I'm just the dude. I'm the man, right? And I say that in the sense of I had to learn it and implement it for me. But now being in the position that I'm in, I see a lot of men specifically that are really looking for a strong male to show them how to be a male.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of fucking bullshit in our society with this toxic masculinity. First things first, there's no such thing. There's I don't care who's listening, you're wrong. If you think there's such thing as toxic masculinity, there's something wrong with your fucking head, is what it comes down to. Shut CNN off is really what, and Fox, shut them all off.
Yep.
But the point is, masculinity is an energy. Feminine is an energy.
Yeah.
Masculine energy is typically in a traditional relationship held by a male. And most males are looking for a masculine male to teach them to be a masculine male and not a feminine male, which has happened as the byproduct of, in my opinion, the feminine movement. Now, I would consider myself to be a feminist. My highest paid people are women. and always have been. And I believe that women are far more powerful than males. I really do. Women can bring life to this world.
Yeah.
They are more powerful than males. Yes, we are physically more powerful, but that's the only thing.
Yeah.
So first things first, I'm a feminist. So I'm not talking negatively about the movement. I'm just saying the byproduct of the movement is a bunch of pussies, is really what it comes down to. Now, a dude like me who had to teach myself to be a male, I had to teach myself to be an entrepreneur, I had to teach myself to be a business owner, I had to teach myself to be this, that, and everything else. And now I'm in the position to be able to give back. And I want to give back. I want to help people. Earlier in the show, I said I speak to 300 to 500 people a day. Mm-hmm. If I don't do second, third, and fourth rounds of DMs, emails, and text messages, it would probably be half that. But you can ask anyone that's in my life. I'll sit on the couch at 7 o'clock at night getting back to people that are low on my totem pole, but need the help, right? So why do I mentor? I mentor because I'm the knowledge. I'm the experience for most people in my life. And I know that they're looking for it. Yeah. And the least I can do is help them with it. Of course, I have strong boundaries that I cut people off when they're not ready or aren't worthy of the help. And it's not that I'll just hit them with a bill and say, you can pay me for my help. I still just won't even deal with you. You don't even get a bill from me anymore. You don't even get my team reaching out to you anymore if you're a complete dickhead. But the point that I'm getting at is this. I mentor because I want to give back, and I actually enjoy helping people. And I have a big heart on my sleeve, on my shoulders, and everybody knows that. And I actually find fulfillment in watching people successful. One of the reasons why I'm so grateful for being out here is because I've been able to watch you over the past year, and I've watched you evolve into this man. Not that you weren't a man prior, but this powerful man, this leader, this someone who's taking responsibility for their actions, someone who's focusing on the marriage, on the kids, having a business that has exploded. You've literally exploded over the past year, right? One of the reasons why we're here today is because I want to help you and give back, just like you want to help me and give back. Mentorship is actually looking at someone to be able to help them, and help them because you can, not because you think you can, because you can. True mentorship is a friendship where one person might just have more experience, be the knowledge, be the expert in certain departments, and offers that to the other person. Now, a lot of times there is an exchange of value. You pay me, I give you. However, that's not the goal, nor the end all be all. The premise is to actually look for opportunities to give to people that need your mentorship. And I can go on about the coaching, but I figured you'd want to unpack that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, it's cool being on this side of it because I see that, right?
And you also mentor, though.
And I also mentor. And yeah, man, it's coming from that desire to help, right? And the desire to teach. And, you know, it's pretty cool because we talk a lot about purpose, right? And we there's just so much that we could dive into, right, with that. But I'm going to bring it up because I think it's worth bringing up. Yeah. When we start talking about your core values and your vision and your purpose, because that's something that as an entrepreneur, I mean, that's completely, I mean, you were courteous enough to stop by the shop this morning and
talk to your team.
You got to talk to the team.
Yeah, there's some good boys you got there.
Thank you.
And girl.
Samantha, man, she's a real one, man.
She's a great implementer.
Yeah, man.
Integrator.
And you walked in and the first thing you saw on the left is, of course, our core values.
Yeah.
Right. And that was a direct, implementation of what you were teaching.
Yes.
So going back to your purpose on, the desire to help and desire to teach and, can you touch on that purpose that you have and, kind of trickle down into those core values?
Yeah. Yeah. So, in July, you came out to Connecticut and, you attended, my in-person mastermind.
Correct.
And what I did with you was I treated you differently than everybody else there. Not for special, not because you're you're special, but
yeah, I'm
you know
special.
What I mean? Like,
yeah,
we're both special.
Real special.
You know, but the point is, you're special, but I wasn't treating you special. You're special in the sense, yes, you're a new entrepreneur, but you're also my age, and you also have been in your industry for just as long as I've been an entrepreneur.
Right.
So you're in this like unique point in your life to where, yeah, you might be young in business, but you're very experienced as a male in departments that I'm not, like marriage and fatherhood. So I pulled you aside from the beginning and I was like, hey, man, listen, everybody's going to look up to you. Okay. So just be prepared. And I want you to be able to give back. Now, you took that upon yourself and you did, but how I started that in-person mastermind, and let's just be honest, I had a lot of accusations coming about that mastermind that I was stealing people's business model to put on for myself. But as you, and which is completely ridiculous,
right.
But, and you just got to think about who it comes from.
Yeah.
Like, just look at the person. You can tell that there's absolutely no realization to the accusations, but you said it. I'm humble enough to say, I'm not teaching anything new here.
Right.
I didn't reinvent the wheel. It's just my perspective.
Correct.
So when we sat down at that in-person mastermind, the first thing that we started with was what?
Core values.
Core values, mission statement, purpose.
Actually, it was
vision.
Vision.
Exactly.
And,
mission, purpose, and core values. And I said, guys, even if you have these in your business, we're going to go over them. Well, I think you had them in your business, but they weren't as readily available
they
for
weren't
your
dialed
team.
in, you know, and I'm sorry, go ahead.
Continue.
Well, I was just going to say, you know, it looks good, right? The core values on the website, the mission statement on the website. Right. It looks great because that's what you do when you have a business. I did that, right? When I went, honestly, I think I slapped the mission statement on my website like day one, like the day I quit my job and started, you know, my business and went to GoDaddy, right? And threw together a website, said Soria Contracting and Solutions, formerly known as Soria Environmental.
Yeah.
And
that guy gave you a hard time, right? Yeah.
And then boom, right? Threw in the mission statement. That sounded good, right? And that was it. Right. So, I mean, yeah, I had that. The core values, those are, you know, like I thought about those core values a lot longer than I did the mission statement. But the point is that no, they weren't readily available. I wasn't hiring. I wasn't living them. I wasn't holding people accountable by core values.
Right.
And I'm still, you know, we talk about a time. We have a mission statement that's fucking dialed, man. It's because I know what our purpose is.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm still working on the vision piece, and that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. But anyway, so as you were saying, so
you were asking purpose,
is
what you were asking. So this is what it comes down to. Fundamentally, my purpose is I'm a teacher, but purpose as I broadcast it to the world is world-class education. My purpose for my companies, my purpose for everything that I do, my purpose is to educate at a world-class level, world-class education. I have gotten to the point to where everyone within my organizations typically can repeat it unless...
I've heard her.
Yeah.
Unless she's in the middle of a phone call.
Unless they're in the middle of a phone call, right?
Yeah, but I've heard that.
But you've heard it, you understand it. And when you get your entire team of however many people you have, it could be one person.
Yeah.
Right? You get your entire team thinking the same way. That's when serious impact happens. That's when people call you up and say, hey, we want you to come to California and speak to Nora. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, I'm white and not Hispanic.
What did I tell you, man? And I said, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. But that, you see what I'm saying? I'm like, you sure you are? I'm not a real estate agent. I'm not Hispanic. Yeah, Chris, we know who you are. Just get your ass out here. Okay, fine. Sounds good. Purpose. But just to kind of accent it, as I was sitting at my booth at Nora, right? A lady came up to me that I had never met before in my life. You know what she says to me? She goes, I know who you are. And I'm like, oh yeah? She's like, my son has read your book.
Wild.
And I'm like, oh yeah? And she's like, my son loves you. I said, well, how old is your son? What's he doing? He's an entrepreneur. He's 19 years old.
Wow.
And
I didn't know that.
I'm like, what? Yeah. She goes, can I buy a few more books? I would like to give them to your son. Can you sign it? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Think about it. I'm on the West Coast. I live on the East Coast. I'm sitting here at an event that I'm about to speak at. A lady recognizes me, recognizes the book, puts 2 and 2 together, knows who I am. How does that happen? That happens. She doesn't follow me on socials. Her son read my book. How does that happen? World-class education. So when you live purpose and you exude purpose, life just falls into place. The reason why I get out of bed at 4:30 in the morning, 7 days a week, is because of purpose. Trust me, my body hurts. I'm sitting here right now with a migraine.
Yeah.
My purpose is to you heard me. You called me at 7:15 this morning. How did I sound? Yeah, I wasn't doing too good.
What's up, buddy? You good? You barely.
Well, what did I say? I said, I'm barely alive. Can you do me a salad and get me a big fucking coffee, please? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here with a migraine right now, but this is an opportunity to educate, right?
I appreciate that.
I feel the pain. It's right behind my eyes. I have bright lights all around me right now.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. My feelings don't matter. What matters is world-class education.
Yeah.
And purpose. If someone decides that their purpose is going to be their guiding light and their compass, then that is what will change not only your life, but everybody around you.
I believe that 100%, man. And that was, I think that was that right there, the purpose, it was funny now kind of bringing it back to the core values and the mission statement, it was funny. So once I, thanks to the awareness, right? I said, all right, let's figure out this purpose thing. Right. And I sat there, and Marisol could attest to this, because I was laying on the couch, and I was just kind of in thought, not quite meditating, but I was just quiet and just thinking about it. It was on my mind. And it just came to me, and I'm like, shit, this is why I'm the way that I am. I mean, it was wild, because me as the owner, right? My personal purpose aligns with the purpose of the business. And then it was funny, because once I had the purpose, then the mission statement came out. It just came out so quickly and fluently and beautifully, to be quite honest. Yeah. Right. And then once I had the mission statement, the core values just, everything just flowed together. Yeah. You can't reach
it was meant to be.
Exactly, yeah. Man. It was transcendent. It's one goes with the other, and they all go hand in hand. Yeah. And the most beautiful part about that was, once I started, once I presented them to the team, their buy-in was instant. Because they knew that. They knew that's who I was. And they also felt, so the purpose of the business is, in short terms, it's to build them, to build my team and bring them up with me, so that way we could then provide the best level of service to our customers. Yeah. And restore peace of mind and give back to our community, all that, right? All that. Yeah. But it all starts with the team.
It does. Well, it all starts with you, and then it moves to your team.
Thank you. Yeah. And they felt that, because that's how that's the culture that I've created. Right.
But they know you do it for them.
I do it for them.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah. And that's good.
Yeah, dude. The core values aren't just things you slap on the website.
Exactly.
The core values are things you live by, and your team, your daughters, your wife, your team, they're always watching you.
Absolutely.
A leader is always being watched. They will know if you're living by the core values or not. I have had people work for me for the longest person that I have with me that's been working with me right now, I think, is about 7 years. And she'll hold me accountable when I'm not living to the core values.
Yes.
Now, it might not be entirely true, but from her perspective, and that's what's important, her perspective. And that perspective is what's going to check me, because I go around and I jam those core values down their throat on a daily basis. Yeah. I jam that purpose down their throat on a daily basis. I jam that fucking vision down their throat on a daily basis, which is to change humanity's mindset. I'm not here to fuck around. Yeah. I know I'm here to change humanity's mindset, and I'm going to do it because I have friends like you that are helping me get my voice heard, just like you did. For instance, and for everyone that doesn't know, Armando is solely responsible for selling 30 of my books, adding 50 followers on Instagram, let alone other platforms, and putting me in front of 700 people yesterday to tell my Purple Heart story.
Yeah.
Several people came up to me afterwards, not only crying, we're talking probably about 50 people came up to me after I got off the stage, but several people said, I want to have you at my event. So it's a ripple effect.
Yeah, that's it. There it is.
It's a ripple effect. And, but living the vision, living the purpose, living the core values is our responsibility as the leader, as the man that we are. And what we're fundamentally talking about is, this is just the first puzzle piece.
Yes.
This is just the first puzzle piece. That's what I do. I give people the pieces to their puzzle to put together.
This is a good segue into this, right? It's because core values, purpose, what would you say? Vision?
I would say all of it.
All of it.
Yeah.
Vision, purpose, then mission statement, followed by the core values to reach that vision or to live the purpose
to
and
achieve
reach
the vision. Yeah.
Right. But it's funny because then out of that comes the processes. Right.
The work.
Right. And
what everybody doesn't want to do.
That's it. And that's what's so awesome about this shit. This is it. Yeah. Right. Like this is the formula. Right. Yeah. Once you have your purpose and you know you're going to get there through your core values to reach your mission. Cool. How do we do that? Well, now let's get these processes in place to reach them, to achieve, to successfully live the mission or, pass through the mission, whatever. Right.
Yeah.
So now with that being said, I've heard you say this and I'm really excited about this. Okay. And I don't think you've spoken on this on a podcast publicly. So I'm really excited to bring this up.
What you got?
Well, you've told me, well, first of all, I don't even know how to say it, man, because this is just, so I'm overwhelmed with emotion.
Speak from the heart.
So do you want to say it or you want me to say it?
I want you to speak from the heart.
So as a way to thank me, which no thanks were necessary because you've already done so much for me and this is a mutual deal, right? As a way of thanking me for putting him in contact with Miguel. And again, thank you, Miguel, for believing in, in this thing as well. And Miguel also follows you and he loves your content as well. So he knew what he was doing, right? Miguel's a smart man. He pulled off, man, the tip of the hat to Miguel.
He brought me and Ivan in.
Yeah.
Yeah. He brought two great speakers.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So anyway, in a way of, the way you thank me for that is you presented me with this bad mamma jamma right here. So this is an unpublished. This is the manuscript.
This is one of the final manuscripts
for your technically your first book.
Technically.
But your second book.
Correct.
And what you've told me about this book is that this is a system.
Correct.
Can you tell us about the Enlightened Entrepreneur?
Absolutely. All right. So Enlightened Entrepreneur, right? This is, I've very quietly talked about my second book to people close to me in my life. I can count on one hand how many people have read this manuscript. As you can see here, the first printing was in September of 2022. This book has been sitting for a year, and I wrote it the year prior. It's been done for a year. Let me just explain why it's not published at this very moment.
Yeah.
I feel very strongly about this book, and people are going to be like, "Of course, he's an author. He feels strongly about his book." Yeah, well, no, this shit's different. Okay. When I say my vision is to change humanity's mindset, when I say my purpose is world-class education, when I say my mission statement is problems are what we solve, it's because it's the truth. It's because of what I do. Anyone that actually knows me or follows me knows if I say I'm going to do it, it gets done. Now, listen, I make mistakes, but 99.9% of the time, when I say it's going to happen, it's because it does, because I put in the work. I'll put in the work. I don't care how hard the work is. I will outwork anybody when it comes to anybody that is doing what I want to do or would consider themselves competition. I see it as a way to collaborate.
Yeah.
But if they want to be my competition, I will outwork them. You cannot outwork me or my team, is what it comes down to. And that's why I'll achieve what I desire. But anyways, Enlightened Entrepreneur, my second book, is a manuscript, but is a system for spiritual business, is what it comes down to. Is a system. This is not, let's back up. Most authors, their second book is all the shit left over from their first book.
Got it.
Honestly.
Yeah.
This is nothing to do with my first book. However, I do reference a lot of the core materials from the first book here in the second book. The first book is for high performers and an awareness book. The second book is for the enlightened. Awareness, enlightened.
Yep.
It's the next step. It's the next level. But for entrepreneurs with a spiritual approach, this is a system for enlightened entrepreneurs, or this is a system for a spiritual approach to business. And what you have here is you have a very systematic, very applicable system that you can read, replicate, read, replicate, read, replicate. All you have to do is run the play. All you got to do is run the play. And I gave this to 4 people off the bat. One of them is a guy that had written 11 or 12 books at the time. And he had been a coach and mentor of mine for approximately 5 years at that point. And never in our 5-year career did he call me outside of a scheduled call. And he said, Chris, what the fuck did you do? And I was like, yo, T, what are you making fun of me right now? He goes, you need to dumb this down. This is too high level. I said, nope, not. He's like, I've written 12 books, blah, blah, blah. I said, yeah, T, I hear you. I hear you, man. I'm not talking to the idiots. I'm not talking to it. I'm burning the fucking reader down. I'm burning them down. I'm ripping them apart, and I'm giving them the path. If they take it, they will achieve what they're looking for if they desire it. He goes, you sure you want to go so high level on your second book? You don't want to keep it for 3, 4, or 5? And I said, no. He goes, I know you got 5 books in you. I said, T, I got 6. I got 6, buddy. The autobiography will be the 6th. That will be the one where I tell all the war stories and stuff like that. But anyways, I have worked very hard to get this book into a major publishing house. You got to understand, whatever you want to consider me. Some people consider me a celebrity. I say, listen, I'm like an F-list celebrity at best, okay? Yes, people know who I am when I show up, which is humbling. But if you want to refer to me as that, I'm like an F-list celebrity. Dudes like me that have a following, right? You know, a guy like me, I'll get a few 100,000 impressions a month. That's that's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, 125 on LinkedIn the other day. I was pretty stoked.
125? Hell yeah. But you're building that platform.
Right. Please.
And guess what? When I push this show on LinkedIn,
boom.
Yeah. Anyways, guys like me that have a following, that have been around for a while, already have a book. People know who I am, keynote stages. Listen, we're a dime a dozen when it comes to authors. Yeah. All right. If I email a major publishing house, if I hear back from them, it might be 3 months later. Sorry, we're not taking any new manuscripts. So I realized I was barking up the wrong tree. Yeah. So I had to go find a literary agent. A literary agent, an agent, is who takes your book and sells it to the publishing houses. They have the network. I was looking agents, if they would respond, yeah, no, sorry, I'm full. Yeah, I'm full. Oh, no one cares. I'm full. I'm like, yeah, but I'm Chris Moore. Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
I'm like, my goodness gracious. So I called in my buddy, right? My buddy is a New York Times bestselling author, international author, Hall of Fame keynote speaker, Bob Berg. Bob Berg, co-author of The Go-Giver.
Great dude, man.
You know him.
Yeah, well, we had him on that thanks to you, right? You brought him in on your mastermind. We'll plug it in later.
Yeah, and I'm like, yo, Bob, what am I doing wrong here, man? And he's like, you know what, Chris? I'm just going to give you a heavy referral. I'm going to connect you. You got it, man. He's like, you got it. You got to keep in mind, Bob's probably in his 70s. He's done. Yeah. He sees dudes like me. He knows I have it. Right? I'm 38. Right? We're young. What other entrepreneur in their 30s than Alex Hormozi is doing anything? Who else is coming up? No one. Bob knows I have it. he gave me his referral of a literary agent who runs her own publishing company. I was like, oh, I'm in. I'm in.
Hell yeah.
Oh, no.
No.
Nah, it was some of the hardest stuff I had to hear about the book.
Yeah.
And she's like, Chris, I'm not even going to read it.
Wow.
You need to get your shit together. And I'm like, what is it? Like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
She's like, Chris, you're not fine-tuned for a major publishing house. You're rough, you're brash, you're straight to the point. And I'm like, yeah, that's who I am. I'm authentic.
Sounds like you, bro.
And she's like,
not in a negative way.
She's like,
right?
if you want to be a international and New York Times best-selling author, it's not going to work. I'm like, what about Gary Vee? Yeah. She goes, you think he writes his own stuff? I said, no, he's got a ghostwriter. She's like, yes, but it's tuned. It's tuned. Look at his social media. Look at his books. And I'm like, so what do I need to do? She's like, you need to go back to the drawing board and you need to fine tune everything. You need to fine tune your whole public image, your message, all of it.
You want you to change who you are?
I was like, yeah, man, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
That's not going to work. So, and that's her perspective.
Right.
That's her perspective. That's not the perspective of the industry. That's just their perspective.
And this is the literary agent's perspective.
This is the literary agent that would sell the book to.
Yeah, not the houses yet.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. The houses wouldn't look at me because of that's what she said. Okay, fine, no problem. So I call in my next heavy hitter friend. Shout out Rob Bailey. What's up, Rob?
What's up, Rob?
And Dana, his wife. And I'm like, yo, dude, like, what's the deal, man? Rob Bailey is one of the most authentic dudes in the personal development and fitness industry.
Awesome.
Dude's just raw, right?
Yeah.
Raw. Like, you think about raw. You thought I was raw yesterday. This dude's raw. I'm like, yo. And he's like, I can't help you. I don't have a literary agent. It's really tough to get them. I'm like, yeah, no shit. I'm like, so what do you think, man? He goes, listen, Chris, if you're not going to get into the major publishing houses by December 31st of this year, you need to self-publish again. And I'm like, yeah, but Rob, like, I feel really strongly about this book, man. Like, I know it's going to impact billions. Like, if I'm going to self-publish, it's going to be really difficult to get the influence that I know this is good for. He's like, yeah, man, do the work. So, all right. So here we are. Now I've accepted that I'm likely going to have to self-publish this. Right? Because he basically said, if you don't put the deadline on it, you're going to continue to think that it's eventually going to happen and it's not going to get published.
It needs to get out. You need to just get it out.
So circling back to you and the question, right? I said to myself, all right, well, I've accepted that this is the trajectory that I'm on. One of my good friends, most importantly, one of the people that I work with closely on his life and his business has already implemented everything from this book, has already helped me get my message out more than most people. Why don't I take this manuscript that I still have sitting around that's been sitting in my drawer and give it to him as a present because I know he'll run the fucking play.
And like I said, man, first of all, no one's keeping score. You know what I mean? Like nothing like that. But I mean, you know, and you didn't have to, right?
No, I didn't have to.
But shit, man, you know, it's an honor. It really is. And I'm so grateful to you for this opportunity to just dive into it, man. And I'll knock it out. How fast did Paola read it?
4 days.
4 days.
Cuatro?
All right.
Yes.
Well, I'll probably have Sophia and Mia pulling on my ears. So maybe give me a week.
And when you're done, I want to talk to you about it. I want to talk on the phone, whatever, you know, Zoom if you prefer. But the point is, I want to hear what you have to say. Yeah,
no, absolutely, man. You know, I'll always be down to give you the feedback. And, you know, real quick, I just want to just touch on this if we may, because that story that you just told about the literary agent, I know that's a hard conversation for you.
Yeah, man.
And this is really... This is you, man. This is you. You're authentic, right? And you wear your heart on your sleeve, just like I do, you know. But it's cool because, and not cool, but it's cool.
It's
right?
cool. It's cool.
It's cool because, regardless, 16 plus years in business, high performer, you know, all the accolades, fucking Purple Heart recipient, like, bro, hell yeah, bravado, the dude, right, the man, right? And even then, I knew this story because in your Dominate Your Day mastermind group, you share your wins and losses. And there was a stint there that week after week after week, this was part of the losses, right?
You remember that?
I do. And I could see it, and I could feel you, bro. Like I do. And I know it's going to be incredible. I know it's incredible.
It is.
And I know that this, just like this one,
Yeah.
it needs to be seen and it needs to be out there. And I think that's why I'm always happy to promote you and share, because I know, right? But man, it's maybe not humbling's the word, but to see you go through it in your own way at a high level. This is some high level shit. Like you're down because of literary agent. I mean, perspective.
Right? Trying to get into like major publishing houses, like big boy shit.
Yeah, big boy shit.
Yeah.
But again, it's taking you to have to work through the disappointment, maybe.
Yeah, man.
Right?
Yeah.
And again, this goes back to bring it all the way back to the beginning, is that this shit that we're doing is a lifelong thing that never stops.
Yeah.
Right? This personal development, and there has to be a better word for it, right? Just this
journey.
This journey, right? It's never over.
Yeah.
There's gonna be roadblocks and obstacles and turmoil and trauma.
Yeah.
But then it goes back to the warrior mindset.
Mm-hmm. It does. It's never going to be that bad.
It's never going to be that bad, baby.
No, never going to be that fucking bad. Let me tell you something. David Goggins, he's self-published, right? David Goggins is published in English and Spanish. And he made like $30 million on Can't Hurt Me. Wow. David Goggins. And it's not about the money.
Right.
It doesn't fucking matter. Motherfucker's a Navy SEAL. Never going to be that bad again. You understand?
Yeah.
When I listened, I've never read his books. I listened to him speak in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Motherfucker was speaking my language, right? It's the same mindset.
Yeah.
All right. But anyways, point is, if he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
Right? All right, fine. The reason why I wanted to put it in a major publishing house is because they'll translate that shit into 30 languages and distribute it throughout the world, which is the impact I want.
Yeah.
Change humanity's mindset. Okay, not a problem. I'll put that shit in English, and then guess what? I got all you people on my team, right? We're family. We'll put that shit in Spanish.
Absolutely.
And then we'll get it to Central and South America and wherever else speaks Spanish.
Now, when you do it in Spanish, you're going to have a few different variations. You're going to have to have the Colombian Spanish.
I understand. Actually, her and I were having a conversation yesterday. I, for the first time in my career, spoke Spanish in my speech yesterday.
It was good.
Not bad, right?
Not bad.
I wanted to at least try.
Yeah.
I wanted to at least try. I can't really hold the sentence in Spanish, but I said to Paola, what did I say, Paola?
That you want to be able to deliver a whole speech.
That you want to.
And.
Yeah.
And write a book.
And write a book in Spanish.
Wow.
And I said, that will be the hard part. And I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Will Ferrell does movies in Spanish.
He does. You seen that one?
Yeah, well, I've seen a little bit of it, yeah. But that's the point, man. Like, if I'm going to have the door held shut on me for the major publishing houses for now, okay, not a problem. I'll put in the work.
Yeah.
I'll put in the work. Guess what? David Goggins wants to go into a major publishing house. He'll get in now.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he could do it, I could do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? Warrior mindset.
That's it.
Fucking A.
It's never going to be that bad.
It's never going to be that bad. All right, bro. I gotta bring this up now because, it's such an amazing cause that it's hard to put into words.
Yeah.
So now the audience, the viewers, and those that didn't know you got to know you a little bit, right? And hopefully y'all read this book and then soon this one.
Yeah.
So that's the business owner, that's the entrepreneur, that's the coach, that's the mentor, that's the fucking all that shit.
Yeah, all the stuff.
Right? So one thing that we could touch on that. There's so much, right? But
let's do it.
One thing that I asked you yesterday, so I know what you're up to.
Yeah, you know me well.
I know you well, and I know what you're up to. And so I'm very, very excited to share with the audience that this year, 2023, you founded...
2021.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So 2021, you founded the Clark Initiative.
Yes, sir.
Can you please share the Clark Initiative, man?
The whole thing?
If you don't mind.
Sure. Okay, so to understand the Clark Initiative, let's just start at the top and then we'll reverse engineer it, starting at the bottom. In 2021, I addressed my team. I said, guys, I've always been big into philanthropy. I've always been big into donating. There were certain years in my career where I would donate six figures. I have the tax returns to prove it. Okay, I'm the type of guy that if someone calls me, I'd be like, not a problem. Here, I'll prove it to you. You understand?
Yeah.
But anyways, I donate six figures a year. I used to, more than I would pay myself out of my companies at that point, right? Out of certain companies.
Yeah.
So I said, guys, why don't we give back through ourselves? Why don't we open a nonprofit, and why don't we take my message and deliver it to veterans to become entrepreneurs? Well, we have all these e-courses. People don't even know I have e-courses. I have what? How many e-courses we got? 6? Yeah. There's 2 of them. Yeah. Anyways, we got all this stuff. Let's teach veterans. Okay. They're like, all right, great. What are we going to name it? So I immediately thought back to several times in my life, which I spoke about yesterday.
Yeah.
God has left me here on this, not once, not one fucking time, notably 3. June 18th, 2006, Purple Heart. July 24th, 2006, 5 weeks later, whatever it was, F-14s had to come in, take care of me. Okay. August 8th, 2006, 2 weeks later. Patrol came down the pipeline to go to a really shitty area called the power plant. And I was stationed in Baghdad. The power plant was just south of Baghdad in this shitty little area called the Sunni Triangle of Death. And now, keep in mind, August 8th, 2006, now I'm a Purple Heart recipient.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the military, listen, you got a Purple Heart. I mean, you're special. You understand?
Yeah.
You're special. You're almost like treated like royalty. You know? You're still alive.
Yeah.
Well, badass mission comes down. We're about to go fuck some boys up is really what it comes down to. And I'm setting up my 50 cal. I'm on the machine gun like always. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker. Pouring motor oil. People don't know this. You pour motor oil on 50 caliber machine guns because the bullets are this big and you're about to shoot a whole lot of them.
Yeah.
It will heat up. It will heat up significantly. A 50 caliber machine gun is bigger than that setup right there of that camera.
Wow. Yeah.
They shoot bullets this big. And my boss comes over to me and he says, Chris, you got the night off, dude. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm on the mission slip. I'm on the trip ticket.
Yeah.
He's like, nah, I'm the whole truck. You guys get the night off. Go call your girlfriend. Go jerk off. Go do something. I was like, no. No, this is going to be heavy. You need me. I'm the best. I am the best. Right? That's always been my mentality. And I was the best on the machine guns. I was. I'm the best. You need me. Nah, Chris, we're good. Go take the night off. All right. So in walks Sergeant Carlton Clark from Vermont. Well, we were boys because he's from Vermont. I'm from Connecticut.
Yeah.
People aren't from Vermont and Connecticut in the military, right? They're like, where are you from? New York? Yes. New York. Yeah, we're from New York. Yeah. Anyways, he's like, hey, is that gun turret up? Is that gun up? I said, yeah, man, it's up. He's like, you sure? I'm like, you want to go check it? He's like, nah, you're the best. I know it's up. I'm like, check it. Make sure it's good. You're going to need it tonight. And the convoy went out that night. And convoy is multiple trucks went out that night. And it just so happened to be that truck, my truck, was struck by a monstrous improvised explosive device from underneath. And unfortunately, the truck flipped upside down on itself. And Sergeant Seal and Corporal Zamora burnt to death because you can't open those doors from the outside. Not only are they 400 pounds, the doors, they're locked. It's a Humvee in war. Can't open them. And everybody watched them die horribly. Clark was in the gun turret. No one knew where Clark was. His mother and father, who I later sat down with, made me swear, she heard, to never speak of how he was found. But he was found a few hundred feet away from the truck, alive. He was alive. He was breathing. But by the time the Blackhawks came, the helicopters, to medevac him, he had died. And this was yet another day that God left me here. Didn't take me. That was my fucking seat. And if you remember in my speech yesterday, Clark was in the truck when we got our Purple Hearts.
Yeah, you told him
his ear was off.
You put your
we all got Purple Hearts that day.
Yeah.
Put your fucking ear on, Clark. You're about to get into a fight.
Yeah.
Ooh, I am like, my skin is like.
Yeah, same.
So.
Same.
So, if I was going to name my company after someone to give back to veterans, it's not going to be named after me. It's going to be named after the man that has let me live. And we decided in that moment we were going to name that. And one of the team members at the time said, Chris, you need to talk to his parents. Yeah, you're right. So I reached out to my network, got on the phone with his dad, said, Mr. Clark, I would like to speak to you in person. I'd like to ask you to name my nonprofit after your son. January 1st, 2022, New Year's Day, I drove to his parents. We sat down, we had tea. And they were very upset with me. Very. A, because they didn't know about me. And B, I told them how their son was found. And they made me promise to never speak of that again, and I won't. I gave them my word. But I asked them for their blessing to name my company after their son in his legacy, to carry his legacy. But also, they asked if, since I'm going to be building a retreat, it's already in the process.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we would put it in Vermont, in their backyard, in the honor of their son.
Warrior Ranch,
baby. And, I got a guy, if I have any mold or water damage, we got an airstrip. We'll just fly you in.
There you go.
Legit. We'll get Joe Peebles. He's a vet.
Oh, yeah.
Be Joe, take care of this. Go get Armando and his team.
Yeah.
Fly him to Vermont.
I'll get you guys. I'll take care of you guys. No problem.
I know he'll do it.
Yeah.
You'll do it. He'll do it.
Absolutely.
Got an airstrip. Bring my boys in. But the point that I'm getting at is the Clark Initiative was named after Sergeant Carlton Clark. I'm the founder of the Clark Initiative. This is the first time in my career that I don't do anything in that company. I do nothing. All I do is preach vision and core values. That's it. And mission, purpose. But our organization is hosting our first event on Veterans Day, 11/11 this year, and we're teaching veterans to become entrepreneurs. We already have a bunch of signups, a whole bunch of donations. But we're taking all of my curriculum to begin to teach veterans to become entrepreneurs. We're going to continue to scale from there and have curriculum for the families to be able to deal with the entrepreneurs. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something from a guy who's seen 25 months of combat. I am not easy to deal with as a partner. I am extraordinarily intense. I'm extraordinarily aggressive, and I'm extraordinarily powerful. Not just physically, but energetically.
Yeah.
Scares the living fuck out of women. Not that I'm trying to scare them, just can be scary. Should I scare grown men? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, curriculum for the families, and we want to put curriculum in place for the service dogs. Yeah. So
awesome.
Yeah. So we've been going. I know it's heavy, right?
Yeah, man.
It's heavy. It's heavy. So we're gonna. We have the curriculum in place. I have a really, really great board. I have a great team, dude. Great team. I mean, we got Doc, my president.
I know a few. I have the honor of knowing a few of them.
Oh, you know Jake.
I know Jake. Patrick.
You know Patrick.
Paola,
yeah. And Jason, you know Jason. We're going to make him basically my general.
Jason.
He's going to be my director of security.
Yeah. The crew, man.
Yeah. But we have Zach, we have Matt, we have Ryan. Ryan's my president. He's a doctor. He's also a veteran. We have Todd. We have Dave. We have a Hall of Fame consultant giving us his time. Hall of Fame.
It's beautiful.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Anyways, we have this great team. We're doing these big things. I got to like really whip them into shape when it comes to how big my vision is,
Yeah.
like, stuff like that. But everybody's doing it. We're doing good. It's actually really fun. We got our first event coming up, and the Clark Initiative is all about teaching veterans to become entrepreneurs.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And that's an incredible story, but it's not a story. It's real.
It's life.
It's life. That's, man, I can't thank you all enough. I mean, it's, wow. How do you even respond to that? Right. But
Yeah.
other than,
speechless, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I'd like to just kind of sprinkle in there is just amazing to me how you have your purpose, right? It seems like everything, this 16-year journey has brought you to this point where your ability to cast a vision, to lead by core values, has brought you to a position now where you're able to, be the founder of this nonprofit, and all that experience has led you to, to the point where you're going to have a successful nonprofit for such an amazing cause. And it's all through the 16-year journey, right? It's like it led you all to here for that, for that purpose. And your purpose goes beyond veterans, and I understand that, but that's just speechless, man.
The only reason why I'm able to do it is because I fucked it up for so long.
Yeah.
I fucked it up, man. I was not the leader I needed to be. I wasn't the leader I needed to be in the military. That was 20 years ago. I've been in leadership for 2 decades. I'm 38. Think about that. You know what I mean? So like you understand, like it's the majority of our life. I was not the leader I needed to be. I wasn't the leader I needed to be in my first 2 companies. I screwed it up long enough to now I've got some things figured out. And that is exactly why I go around helping so many people.
And that's what I was going to say is people ask like, we were talking about it, right? Why a mentor?
Right.
Why a coach?
Right.
There's no shortcut to this shit.
No.
It's going to be a hard ass journey.
Yeah.
But it's also the most rewarding, to be able to provide, lead, mentor your teams, watch your teams execute.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Yeah. That's the fulfilling stuff.
Yeah. So that fulfillment is worth the wild ride, but there is no shortcut to this shit. No. Right. But, and correct me if I'm wrong, or tell me, whatever, but that's where the most value of the mentor is there's no shortcut. However, pick yourself up a mentor that you align with, and it's going to save you. It's going to cut that time in half. I'm 2.5 years in business, and where we are is incredible. And there's no way in hell that we'd be here without mentorship, without investment in personal development, but more importantly than all that shit, without implementing, without running the play.
2.5 years in, I couldn't put fucking gas in my truck. I write about it in that book. Or maybe I write about it in that book.
I think it was in this one.
I think I wrote about it in that book. 2.5 years in, I could barely pay rent, let alone put gas in my truck. Feeding my dog rice because I couldn't afford dog food.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. When it comes to a mentor, when it comes to a business coach, their job is to steer you around the landmines so it doesn't cost you time and money. Someone who's been in the position and has traveled the journey can significantly cut the journey down if you run the play. If you run the play. I had a guy recently who got into a serious pot of hot water with a client. Someone who when he told me that he'd been responding to emails for 6 weeks with 4 attorneys CC'd, I was like, oh God, stop. He was looking at several $100,000s worth of lawsuit. And with one piece of advice, it cost him $6,000, and it was done. And that's what a good mentor does.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't been in lawsuits, but as a mentor, I have. Mm-hmm. I know how to navigate the ship. And you got to move the ship around the icebergs, or as I like to say, move the person around the landmines.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what a good mentor does.
Man, if anyone wants to support the Clark Initiative, socials, emails,
yeah, totally, dude. forclark.org, forclark.org. You can find us on LinkedIn, and you can find us on Instagram and Facebook. The Clark Initiative, I believe. The Clark Initiative on social medias. Forclark.org is our website. Of course, if you want an email, just email info@clark.org.
And we'll put some links up and shit on the descriptions and whatnot, man. And Chris, bro, thank you so much for powering through a migraine.
Yeah, you got it, bro.
2 times in one day.
Not my first rodeo, dude.
and sincerely, man, from the bottom of my heart, dude, thank you for telling that story.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity to tell this story. I know, right?
Yeah.
I know we both got emotional during that one. Yeah. And I'm going to be dead honest with you. That speech is the hardest one for me to give, especially if it needs to be in a 45-minute to an hour setting. But being able to process the emotion is the key, whether you're the sender of the information or the receiver of the information. So you've given me the opportunity to tell my story twice in the period of 2 days. And I'm just grateful.
Hey, man, I'm grateful for you. And yeah, dude, if man, there's so much here. Find the book, Dominate Your Day, A High Performer's Guide to Winning at Life. Soon, we'll plug that one in later when I'm done with it. Social media, it's OG.
Chris Warnes _OG.
And of course, Warrior Consulting is the name of the business consulting and online courses, and Dominate Your Day Mastermind. I'm a product of that, and we're dominating.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
Yeah, Chris, thank you so much. Is there anything you want to add, man?
No, just thank you.
Thank you, bro.
Truly, thank you.
Thank you. Grateful for you. Grateful for the team. We'll catch up soon, brother.
I got one thing.
Oh,
for the listeners, run the fucking play.
Boom. Let's go.